Welcome back to Red Wilson Field. It is a sunny, beautiful day after July 4th, which was not the case, unfortunately. One of the best days for baseball was rained out yesterday. It started downpouring about 2 hours before the game was supposed to start between these two teams. It's the Red Sox and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks, who were scheduled to play on back-to-back days. They now play today, and their second game was rescheduled next week for July 12th. It's Perri, Kitei, and Poley. As always, Luke, these teams haven't played each other yet. It's the last team YD has not played throughout the rest of the Cape. So what can we expect to see today between these two teams? Some new guys on both sides as well.
Yeah, for YD, they're going to have a debut as Brady Neal will make his first start for the Red Sox. LSU's second-string catcher from this past year, just finished up his true freshman year. He's going to designate hit for YD. Also, John Gazdar is making his debut in the 9-hole for Hyannis. It's a Hyannis team that's filled with a lot of right-handed hitters, and they've been fighting in the middle of the pack all season long in the West Division. It's been a very contentious West Division behind a Kitei team that has really run away at the top. But a Hyannis team, they've dropped their last two, but they've been very streaky throughout the early part of this year. They've been up, they've been down, and a familiar face is going to start them off at the plate here today that many Red Sox fans that have been following this team since the beginning of the year might know.
Yeah, it's Nick Mitchell who's leading things off for the Harbor Hawks today. Mitchell was on the Red Sox. He was actually signed on a permanent contract, and the conversation is not completely known to us, but I think Mitchell was made aware that there would be more opportunities for him at another team in the league, and so he and the Red Sox terminated their contract, and now he's with the Harbor Hawks, made the move west to Hyannis, and he is leading things off for a strike on the outside to start things off. The infield has become rather familiar for YD. Hines at first, Day at second. The 0-1 misses outside. Vieira at short, Darby at third, and then in the outfield, Austin in left, Archer in center, and Cook in right. The outfield has been rotating slightly more. Strike two, runs inside on Mitchell, and it's 1-2. Mitchell plays at Western Illinois as ball two misses high. But he just recently announced he's transferring to Indiana University, his home state. He's an Indiana native. The 2-2 misses just inside, and the count runs full on Mitchell, the leadoff. Archer shifted over to the left center gap. The payoff, grounded up the middle, and it gets through. Yost can't stop it on the mound, and Nick Mitchell has a leadoff single against his former team.
Long at bat to start things off, and a full count. Just roll one up the middle. Yost nearly had that on the mound. It looked like that might flip up on him a bit and find his glove, but that stuck to the ground and snuck its way through the infield for a base hit.
It's a tough play to make as a pitcher, especially when it stays on the ground like that. Got a little slowed up by the grass, but even if Day could get to it, there wouldn't have been a play. The bunt is shown from Elijah Hainline, the second guy in the lineup for the Harbor Hawks, but it's pulled back, and it's ball one. Hainline, an all Pac-12 honorable mention selection out of Washington State. The 1-0. Misses low again, ball two. He's another hometown guy, similarly to Mitchell, who just committed to Indiana. Hainline is from Spokane, Washington, goes to school in Spokane, Washington. He's come a long way to the East Coast to play in this league. Yost deals, catches the inside corner for strike one. A regular infield for YD. A couple of days ago, we did not see them shift as much as we're used to, Luke.
Yeah, it's been a little more straight up lately.
The 2-1 chopped foul. Darby.
Part of the season where when you're looking at those numbers and those analytics about how you want to place your shifts, a lot of times you're taking it, at least in the first half of the year, based off of guys' college stats and what they've done in college. And then as they start to get more stats with wood, you start to see their tendencies and things changing up when they start to swing those wood bats things can change in terms of how you're shifting on them, and that can also mean just
Be a team that sprays it all around the field and doesn't have the analytics to support shifts as aggressive as Coach Pickler does. The payoff, check swing, called strike three, possibly the most delayed strike three call I've ever seen. I heard it come out, but I don't think he moved his hands until Hainline was halfway up towards first.
That's a tough one for Hainline, right above the top part of the zone. Just clips a piece of it. You think you've taken ball 4 because you're 10 steps down the line before you get rung up.
Everybody has their own way of doing things. It's Cam Smith. Swings at the first pitch, blooper towards left field, right field, but it drops just foul. It was Cook running to his left. I thought that had a chance at staying fair, but it dropped a couple feet outside the line. Would have been extra bases for sure from Cameron Smith, who went opposite field on the first pitch. Smith plays at Florida State. The pick off to first, not in time. Was on the 2023 ACC All-Freshman team. Another pick off towards first. Yost trying to keep Mitchell at bay. Mitchell had a couple stolen bases for YD during his time with the Red Sox. Yost delivers. Fouled into the backstop. And it's 0-2. This is Smith's 21st game for the Harbor Hawks. He leads the team by far. The next closest is 18. King bluffs at first, but ball 1 is high above Smith's shoulders. .21 hits, 9 RBIs, leads Hyannis as well. Popped up towards foul territory. Hines running over, but not enough space. Drops right in front of the bleachers. Count remains 1-2. Yost takes a really deep breath to settle himself, and here's that shift we were talking about on the 1-2 count. There's 3 on the left side of the infield. The pitch is outside, evens it up 2-2. With Hines guarding Mitchell at first, there is nobody between first and second right now. If Smith can just lay it down opposite field, which we saw him do on the first pitch of his at-bat. The 2-2 in the dirt. It's another full count. 3 batters, 3 full counts. Still just 1 out. Yost already at 17 pitches. The 3-2 fouled out of play. It was a hit and run. Mitchell was well on his way. Now jogging back to first. Yost checks the runner, now fires, and it's flown into right field. Cook chasing after it, makes the grab on the run. Mitchell caught up at second. There's a chance to double it up, and it is miles ahead of Nick Mitchell. He thought that ball was dropping for sure, but he underestimated Casey Cook. A double play ends the inning for the Red Sox. What a start. They'll go 1-2-3 at the plate in the bottom of the first. When we're back, you're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. And leading things off for the Red Sox after an exciting end to the top of the first. He's facing Hayden Frank for the Harbor Hawks. Frank's the lefty out of Lipscomb. His first pitch is a ball at Austin's head. A big kick deal. Austin lines it towards third into the glove of Cameron Smith. Just mishit. Didn't get full barrel contact, and that is a quick out number one. Austin's 10-game hit streak finally broke versus Katuitt. YD made a valiant attempt at a comeback, but came up short, and now it's Xander Darby, who's been seeing the ball really well lately. Attacked the first pitch, flared towards right field, camped out under it. Lipsy makes the catch. 2 pitches, 2 outs. Can't ask for a better start than that from Frank.
Clear emphasis on getting after Hayden Frank, who's pretty fastball heavy from the left side, but just haven't quite found those gaps yet from these top 2 in the YD order. Here's a guy, though, that can hit the ball well.
Vieira, the first one to hold off at a first pitch strike. Outfield playing deep. Infield on the edge of the grass. The 0-1 falls outside, and it's 1-1. Vieira, the All Big East first team selection out of Seton Hall, who has been a breakout star of this YD team. Flares it foul behind the bleachers, and it's 1-2. Frank deals, and it gets through the gap into right field. A base hit for Max Vieira. Just a liner right between first and second. And the Red Sox have one aboard with 2 outs for Hunter Hines.
Just a good job to go the opposite way for Vieira. That's what he's done throughout this early part of the season. Just pokes one out towards right.
Vieira's 25th hit of the season. That leads one of them through 20 games. The 0-1 hits the zone on the outside corner, and he's down 0-2. Vieira with a conservative lead over at first. He does lead the team in stolen bases as well with 11. Nobody else has more than 3. The 0-2 popped up towards foul territory and out of play behind the hills. Count remains the same. Hines now forced into a defensive at-bat. Frank is set, looking at Vieira. Now he delivers. At the top of the zone, a called strike 3. No swing from Hines, and another late ring up from our home plate umpire. We'll just have to get used to that style. It's a scoreless first inning. It's Perri, Kitei, and Luke West. Top of the second after a quick first from both teams. Back on the mound, Eric Yost now facing Austin Kelly. He ended up facing the minimum for Hyannis at the top of the first, even with the leadoff single from Mitchell. And the first pitch grounded foul by Kelly. Mitchell got caught in no man's land after he expected a hit towards the Rays at Lipscomb. He was at Mississippi State, where he redshirted. Then he attended a junior college, Northwest Florida State, before finally ending up at Lipscomb. Just gets a piece of one to stay alive. Day backed up into right field. The shift is on, and the 1-2 misses on the outside corner. It's 2-2. I thought that had a chance at our third called strikeout of the day, but Yost has to keep hammering away at the edges of the zone. The 1-2 on had a lot of time to run it out.
Yeah, it's one of those where oftentimes you'll see guys bunt away from the shift. That essentially did the same thing. You just slow roll the ball the other way, and there's nobody on that side for YD to handle it.
First pitch to Brody Donay. Slides away from him for strike one. Infield back to approximately their regular positions. Small lead from Kelly. Yost fires. Big swing and a miss. Strike two. Day at Red Wilson. Yost taking a long look at Austin Kelly. Isn't going to let him get away with an easy one again. 2-1 in the dirt. It's 3-1. Bates had 16 home runs this season at Louisiana Tech while leading the team with a 3.02 ERA. That is a two-way player if I've ever heard one. The 3-1 popped up into foul territory. Darby hustling over, but there is no play to be made. It's a full count. It's one of the hottest days we've had so far on the Cape. Full sunlight, temperatures over 80 degrees. Not a lot of wind. It is very hot out there on the field. The 3-2 hit well into right field. Cook hustling over and makes the grab on the run right before the foul pole. Another unbelievable catch from Casey Cook ends the inning. YD goes to the bottom of the second feeling really good about the way their team is playing right now. It's 5-6-7 when we come back on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Will King leads off the bottom of the second for the Red Sox, still scoreless at Red Wilson Field. A slight wind picking up, blowing out to the left of the ballpark. And King, with his classic tomahawk windup, is into the stance for the first pitch. A curve which drops below the zone for ball one. King batting right around 300. A nice frame from Donay gets strike one. He's at 294. with 15 hits and 51 at-bats. Grounds it up the middle, and it sneaks through into the outfield right below the feet of Hayden Frank. Reminiscent of Nick Mitchell's leadoff hit from the first inning, and King is aboard.
Just a good start from King. Hop on it, be aggressive. Just roll it up the middle of the infield.
It's one of the few times we've seen his hits on the ground. He's usually one to either pop it up or put it on a line. Caught Frank off guard. Leadoff runner aboard for Brady Neal, his first at-bat as a member of the YD Red Sox. We brought him up earlier. Just won a national championship with LSU as a backup catcher. He battled some injuries throughout the season. The 1-0 popped up towards the left center gap. Lipsy is there and makes the grab. King retreats back to the bag. An unsuccessful first outing, but someone that has a lot of upside for the YD team and adds a lot of depth behind the plate and at the plate.
Yeah, it's a much needed addition. Having two catchers at this level is a little bit difficult with playing these games every single day. It was going to put a lot of stress if that had to continue for a long time on Will King and Connor Dykstra.
First pitch to Brady Day, a curve that falls outside. Day has been on an uptick as of late. Was responsible for 2 of YD's 4 hits against Orleans in that last outing. Counts 2-0 with 1 out. King on first and Nathan Archer on deck as YD has reached the bottom part of the order. Frank staring down King. The pitch popped foul, and the kids will chase after it in the parking lot. It's 2-1. Day hits it towards left field, and it drops fair right inside the line. King rounds second. Barely fair, but another hit for Brady Day. Placed that so well, Lipsy was running over towards it, probably hoping it would go foul. Instead, I think that ball found paint.
Yeah, just snuck that one inside the line. Little lifted shot out towards left field, and those lines are where you see a lot of those high shots to the outfield land here at Red Wilson. Just has a tendency to suck in baseballs.
Brings up Nathan Archer with 2 aboard and 1 out. Frank finally locates the pitch he's attempted and missed on a couple times today. That high arcing curve falls away, hits the outside corner of the zone. The 0-1, identical pitch, identical spot, strike 2 for Nathan Archer. Casey Cook on deck, rounding out the YD order. The runners take their leads. King is not very far off the bag and not being guarded real closely by Hyannis either, as ball 1 sails above Archer's head. Nathan Archer batting .250 through 19 games with 10 hits and 3 home runs of his own. The 1-2 misses below, and it's even. Archer now settled back into the lefty box. YD, a really lefty-heavy team. The pitch swung on and missed at the shoulders. Did not drop, and Archer goes down. There's 2 outs.
That's one that Archer's certainly going to want back. I don't know if maybe he was sitting breaking ball there and thinking that that ball at his head was going to come down near the zone. Just took a hack at it, but was way atop the zone there, and he went chasing on it, one that he's certainly going to want back.
Casey Cook, the last chance for YD with 2 runners aboard. And he takes strike 1. Cook with just 6 hits through 39 at-bats. And he holds off and on identical strike 2. He does have 5 walks for the season, so his on-base percentage considerably higher than his batting average. A pickoff move towards second. I think some calls from the YD dugout wanted a balk, perhaps, as there was a lazy pump fake towards second where nobody was guarding King. The 0-2 falls outside and Cook holds off. The 1-2 misses again. Frank trying to get Cook to chase, but he has been disciplined so far. As we said before, pretty solid walk numbers. A full count with 2 outs for Casey Cook, top of the lineup on deck. Swings towards the left center gap. Looks like it might find grass. Instead, Lipsy sprints over and gets there just in time. YD strands 2, and we head to the top of the third, still scoreless at Red Wilson Field. Trey Lipsy into the 8-hole. Oh my gosh. Starting off for Hyannis at the top of the third. Has me tripping over my words. The first pitch to him hits his foot, and he will take a walk. First free pass of the day from Yost. Lipsy didn't really have to stand there for very long. Yost just bounced it in the dirt. Lipsy's foot was in the way.
Yost has allowed the leadoff man on in every inning now through 3. He's been good through the first 2 to get the outs he's needed, strand him on base, but he's making it a little tougher on himself by putting that first guy on.
John Gazdar almost is hit as the first ball runs inside on him. As you said, Luke, this is his debut for the Harbor Hawks. He attends Austin P. The pickoff to first, not in time. Not only did he have a solid season at the plate, batting .308, Gazdar was a model student at Austin P. Finished up his first year with a 4.0 GPA. The 1-0 curves above the zone, ball 2. Gazdar takes a big hack and goes stumbling into the lefty batter's box. It's 2-1. Lipsy taking a conservative lead at first, but trying to get Yost to jump. He's already taken 2 pickoff attempts, and ball 3 up at the letters. Gazdar wiggling the bat, the 3-1, grounded up towards short, chance for 2. There's one at second, spiked in the dirt, and pulled out off the 1-hop from Hyannis. First 2 outs retires the runners, and it's the top of the order for the Harbor Hawks. An unconventional way to make the play, but the ball was thrown hard enough that Hyannis had time to dig it out.
Yeah, it's a really, really nice pick by Hyannis, and also for Day, it's not a bad idea to necessarily throw that ball in the dirt like that when you're coming off your back heels with your momentum going into the opposite direction, as long as you can get it out of your hand hard.
First pitch from Mitchell, flared foul. It's 0-1.
Very close play, though. Wouldn't have been possible without that stretch over there at first from Hunter Hyannis, who has shown his prowess defensively over there at first this year.
Mitchell up towards short. Vieira has it. The throw is not dug out this time, is in the dirt, gets past and into the dugout. Mitchell takes 2. Likely the first error of the game. We'll wait to see the scorer's decision. And it is an E6 from Vieira, who spiked it too close to Hines' feet. Would have been a really tough grab, and unfortunately this time couldn't make it. So Mitchell on second, his second time on base today. Should have been the inning. Instead, Elijah Hainline is at the plate. First pitch fouled into the backstop. Count to Hainline is 0-1 with 2 outs. Mitchell on second. The pitch below the knees. It's 1-1. Hainline was rung up in his first time around. Thought he had ball 4. Made his way halfway down the line before he heard the call. Day is over towards second. A big gap between first and second. And it's on the ground towards third. Darby has it, throws it across the diamond. Again on the ground, gets behind Hines. It's another error, and Nick Mitchell will score 2 errors in a row from the infield, and Yost cannot be happy right now with that run coming across the plate.
Number 13, Cameron Smith.
Yeah, just a really tough play. Darby, he had the runner between second and third kind of hung up if he wanted to go that route, but thought it was a simple enough play over to first that he could make it. Just bounced it in again, and that one was nowhere near the area code of Hines. Nothing he could do about that one over at first.
The Harbor Hawks lead 1-0 at the top of the third. That run will not go against Yost's record, as Cameron Smith takes strike 2. Ball 1 misses above the zone. It's 1-1. Our scoreboard has not changed since the last batter. But it's Hainline on second, Smith at the plate. He flew out in his first time around as part of that double play that ended the inning. One of 2 great plays from Casey Cook out in right field. 2-2 with 2 outs. The pitch flared foul, and count remains the same. Or it's 1-1. And it's now 1-2. Mitchell takes a big lead on second. Day is right behind him. Hines shifted over towards second slightly. The only person covering the dirt between first and second. Mitchell bluffs. It's in the dirt, but King keeps it in front. And now it's 2-2. Smith batting .292 through his 20 games on the Cape. 5 doubles, 2 triples, and 3 home runs. 10 extra base hits out of 21. And the foul tip goes off the mask of King. So Smith gets another chance at life. Mitchell retakes his lead. YD has already let one come across unearned in this inning. Don't want to give Mitchell a chance to come around and score the 2-2 outside, but it's another strike 3, just hit the outside corner. Another called strikeout for Eric Yost, ends the inning on his own, but the Harbor Hawks put one on the board. They lead 1-0. We go to the bottom of the third. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. After just 2, we have a new pitcher. Darren Horn on the mound after Hayden Frank only went 1 time through the order. He'll face RJ Austin in the 1 spot. Has a bit of a sidearm release. Not quite a submariner, but definitely not traditional as well. The 1-0 finds the zone. It's 1-1. Austin rips it towards foul territory. Hopefully not in the path of anybody over there, but we've already had a couple of those incidents so far today. Not today, so far this year, and you can see why on that very hard hit foul ball. The 1-2 falls outside. Because of that sidearm release, these balls are traveling away from Austin, the righty, as they come across the plate. The 2-2 he offers and misses. Knew it was going to drop in the zone, and that's strike 3.
Next up, out of UC Santa Barbara, number 12,
It's so hard for
Darby.
righties. The further out that arm slot comes from, further from the side versus over the top, the tougher it is with those pitches just running away from you.
Darby takes a first pitch strike. Horn plays at Coastal Carolina. He's a junior, went 3-2 this season with a 5.6 ERA in 28 appearances. Ball one is below the knees. It's 1-1. Ball two just outside the fastball offering. A regular infield for Darby, who flew out his last time around and has yet to swing the bat. It's 2-2. Darby plays at UC Santa Barbara. He's a gaucho going into his junior year. Bats left, throws right, and hits it towards left field. It drops just above the head of Cameron Smith. A single for Xander Darby, and he's 1 for 2 on the day.
Next up, out of
Not a lot of
Seton
stuff
Hall,
on either side today hit very hard.
Max Vieira.
From both the Hyannis bats and the YD bats, it's been a lot of soft contact, but for the most part now, with 6 hits between the two teams, it's found its way through.
Well, Hyannis isn't a team that's displayed much power the entire year. They have 8 home runs total. Hunter Hines has 8 home runs on his own, and YD a lot more on top of that. Runner goes. Darby is in time only because the throw was off center from Done. He should have had him by a mile. Darby had a very late jump and was not moving quickly, but he gets a lucky break, and Vieira has a runner in scoring position.
I'm not sure what happened there. Something went wrong in that jump for Xander Darby. That was not a normal steal of second base like you mentioned.
The 0-1 is outside. Count evens up for Vieira, who had the first hit of the day for the Red Sox. His also soft contact towards right field. Drop just in front of Zach Earhart out there. Horn throws ball 2 away in the lefty batter's box. Darby dancing around on second, trying to draw the throw. Just 1 out for the Red Sox. Hines on deck. The pitch, grounded foul into the bleachers. And there's laughter, so hopefully nobody hurt again. This has been a rough inning so far for the left side bleachers at Red Wilson Field. But it's 2-2 for Vieira with 1 out and a runner on second base. Horn staring at Darby. Now the pitch on the ground towards first, smothered by Kelly. Flips it over to Horn for out number 2, but Darby does advance. And he is now on third for Hunter Hines.
Hunter Hines.
Hines is not only leading YD, but leading the league in RBIs with 26. The second closest on the team is actually Max Vieira, who has 8, and Will King with 10. But Hines has blown them out of the park. No pun intended. As strike 1 clips the outside of the zone. King is on deck if it gets there. It's 1-1 now for Hines, the lefty, facing the righty pitcher. This, as a sidewinder, is a more advantageous matchup for the batter. The 1-1 chopped high and foul. Luckily, up the first base line. It's 1-2. Hyannis with 4 doubles to go along his 8 home runs. Darby Bluffs over at third. The 1-2 check swing. And he did go around for strike 3. The ball was in the dirt, but the throw over to first ends the inning. YD threatens again, but can't bring any across. We head to the top of the 4th. It's Perri, Kitei, and Luke West Poley on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Top of the 4th inning here from Red Wilson Field. Luke West Poley with Perri Kitei. 1-0 our score. Hyannis with a couple of 2-out errors back-to-back to score a run in the last inning. Austin Kelly is 1 for 1. He returns to the plate to face Eric Yost for the 2nd time. YD's hurler so far has gone 3 innings, given up 2 hits, 1 unearned run, and the first pitch attacked and fouled off on the left side. That'll get out of play. Pretty quick moving game so far. These pitchers have done a decent job for Hyannis. They cut Hayden Frank's day short. Frank was supposed to pitch yesterday and get the start before the rain out, and then they put in the starter who was supposed to play today if there was no rain out, Darren Horn. This one wrapped over towards first off the chest of Hines. He recovers, sidearms on to first, and his pitcher's covering. Yost taps on the bag for out number 1.
Next up, out of Virginia Tech, number 29.
That looked like it could be error number 3 on the day, but Hines made a nice recovery, and Yost did a good job in continuing to cover and make sure he beat out the runner as the shift is put back in play for Brady Donay.
Donay hacks at the first pitch and misses for strike 1. Big frame in the batter's box, 6'5", 223, although with his pretty upright stance, it looks like a lot taller than that. 1 misses away. Brody is hitting .280 this year. He's got 1 home run, 6 driven in. 0 for 1 on the day with a fly out to right. 1 misses outside. 2 balls and a strike. Yost has been throwing that pitch in a similar spot where Will King has had to lean to his right in the other batter's box to scoop it when these right-handed hitters are in. Zips the 2-1 low. 3 balls and 1 strike to Brody Donay. A packed house here at Red Wilson. Pitch, fisted foul. 3 balls and 2 strikes now. Another full count. Eric Yost has had his pitch count get pretty high. He's up to 63 pitches now through 3 1/3. He's thrown 36 of them for strikes. Into the wind, the payoff. Rolled foul again. Over towards the YD bullpen where there is a pitcher warming. Three balls and 2 strikes to Brody Donay. Yost has had 2 strikeouts, both of the looking variety. Pitch, swing and a miss, strike 3. Yost gets his first wave and miss, and there are 2 gone in the 4th.
Next up, out of Oklahoma State, number 4, Zach Earhart.
Brings up Zach Earhart, Oklahoma State Cowboy. He is 0 for 1 on the day. Fly out to left field for him. Yost's first pitch misses for ball 1. Whitey outfield is shifted towards the push side out in center. Nathan Archer shadowed towards the right side of second base. So the 1-0 drops low for ball 2. There are fans about where Archer is standing out in right center field, all the way from right center through to the left field foul pole and then wrapping behind the Whitey dugout. Grounded up towards third. Darby has it off the chest and throws on to first, and it's easy breezy for the Red Sox in the top of the 4th. 1-2-3 go the Harbor Hawks for the first time as the Red Sox try to get back into this game. They trail 1-0 to the bottom of the 4th when we return on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Now batting out of Eastern Kentucky, number 30.
1-0 our score. Hyannis is leading YZ. Last of the 4th inning from Red Wilson Field in South Yarmouth. Thanks so much for joining us as we make our way through July 4th week on Cape Cod. First pitch to Will King is on the way, and it's snapped up high for ball 1. Very heavily populated as we'd expect. A lot of buzz around this league surrounding July 4th. King rolls that one foul. Even though we didn't actually get to play on July 4th, the crowds will still stick it out likely through the end of the week. And also the MLB draft is upcoming, which generates a lot of hype around the Cape League as well. King takes a hack and misses at the 1-1.
He put his entire body into that swing.
The 1-2. Lifted out towards shallow left field. Lipsy is racing in, and now he will slow up and make the catch around mid-outfield for out number 1.
Next up,
King's been known to use his whole body in that swing, just got underneath that one. And now we will see Brady Neal for his second at-bat as a member of the Red Sox. He flew out to left his first time. Left-handed swinging catcher out of LSU. Bumps the first pitch foul off home plate. 17th round pick Neal by the Milwaukee Brewers in last year's MLB draft out of high school. Top ranked catcher in the state of Florida. Swings and misses at the 0-1 offering. Native of Tallahassee, was ranked 2nd nationally among catchers. Won a national championship as a freshman with the Tigers. Takes in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Horn gets the nod. Now he's into the pitch. That's outside, 2-2.
Brady Done has such an interesting frame as a catcher. You don't see a lot of 6'5" catchers. When he's up, haunched on his knees, his head is almost at Neal's shoulder.
Neal swings and misses for the strikeout. That's the 3rd by Darren Horn, who generates another swing and miss, and there are 2 gone in the 4th.
Number 10, Brady Day.
Donay towering over our home plate umpire, Joe Hilton, who doesn't seem to be very small himself. Brady Day, 1 for 1, takes strike one in the outer corner. Day has seen that average continue to climb. Left-handed swinger. Takes down and away. Darren Horn on the other side. Tosses in the 1-1, and it's snapped up high for ball 2. Plays for Coastal Carolina. 6 ERA on the season through 3 innings. He struck out 5, though, during that span. Reached for and poked foul on the 2-1 offering, 2-2. Fastball only about 90 miles an hour from the right side, but he comes out of that funky arm slot and makes his money with that slider. It sits 83 to 87 with 3,300 RPM. When bounces in for ball 3. For context, the average MLB fastball sits around 2,580, and a lot of MLB sliders are in the low 3,000s beneath his 3,300 mark. He's got a lot of spin, the best in the Cape League. 3-2 misses outside, ball 4. So Day reaches for the second time. That prolongs the inning. And now Nathan Archer, who was a strikeout victim his first time, will get to see the righty Darren Horn for the first time. So we're here in the 4th inning, and we've crossed the 5 o'clock hour mark, nearing 6 o'clock now. The crowd has continued to file in as we nearly got a wild pickoff over to first base. But can see a lot of fans still carrying their lawn chairs out to the outfield, which is pretty much the only available real estate right now to go and watch this game with how crowded it's gotten. A lot of people here for this Wednesday evening game. Bunt is squared, back pick to first is nicely scooped out of the dirt by Kelly. Home plate umpire ruling that Archer pulled the bunt back, and so that's ball 1.
Archer struck out swinging in his first time around. Has been in and out of the lineup. There's a really deep outfield on this team.
Takes up high for ball 2.
So while the infield has been pretty stagnant, that outfield rotates every day. It's Jenkins Cowart, Apodaca moving in there, Archer, Austin, who's been an infielder at Vanderbilt. He's been in left field most of the time.
2-0, check swing, it went around. That's strike 1. It's tough to crack this lineup, and in this league where you're taking the best players from everywhere you look, not a lot of available spots. This one lined up the middle field, and on the 1-hop, it ties up the shortstop Hainline, and it's into left field. Hainline second-guessed himself at the last second. That ball, you could tell, was spinning weird. It initially looked like it was going to be a line out right to him, but then it just died right in front of him. He would have had to field on the short hop. Would have been a close play if he decided to go to second with it, but instead, that ball just came up and handcuffed him and went into left field.
Still waiting on the scorer's decision. I imagine the scorer battling about that himself. If I was a scorer, I don't know what I would call that, because it looked like he should have had it, but then it took such a weird bounce. It just went right over his glove.
Cook takes a strike. We've seen 2 errors on the wide east side of things, and none yet for Hyannis pending that last play. Very, very close about what you want to call it. Knee lift and could be described as a wrist flick back towards second, but not really a pickoff from Horn. This pitch on the way, and that finds the outer corner, much to the dismay of Cook for strike 2. They're going to give him the base hit, so Nathan Archer gets the single. And so for YD, that's their 5th hit of the day. 0-2 bounces away, long secondary, and getting back in time, Brady Day frantically running back to the base. Donay, if he wanted to throw back to second, might have had a chance to maybe catch Day off the bag, but elected to just eat it up. And probably a smart decision in the 2-strike count that he has Casey Cook with. Ball and 2 strikes to the UNC Tar Heel. Just gets a piece to stay alive. YD looking to level this game at 1 in the first meeting between the Red Sox and the Hyannis Harbor Hawks this season. Two local rivals. This is the East-West split game right down the middle where the divisions are separated here on Cape. Check swing at the 1-2 in the dirt. That evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. So about 15 minutes separate these two teams' fields. We were at McKeon Park yesterday before the rain that poured in about an hour before first pitch delayed it till next week. 2-2 to Cook. Rolled over, first base side, backing up. Kelly has it, flips to his pitcher, and Horn is there on first base to retire the side. YD once again strands 2. They've stranded a runner in every inning and have failed to score to this point. We head to the 5th from Red Wilson Field. You're watching YD Red Sox baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network.
Score after 4 innings is
Top of the 5th inning here from Red Wilson Field. Luke West, Poley, Perri, Kitei alongside. Ethan Bates out of Louisiana Tech starts things off for Hyannis against a new pitcher. Cole Hilliard taking the hill for YD. Righty out of Point Loma Nazarene. First pitch is outside for ball 1, so Eric Yoste is done. He goes 4 innings, 2 hits, 1 unearned run, no walks, 3 strikeouts, and 1 hit batter for the Northeastern Husky. 1-0 misses off the corner. 2 balls, no strikes to an 0 for 1 Ethan Bates. Flew out to right his first trip to the plate. 2-0 lifted in the air, left field, foul ground. Darby racing after it. That'll drop in the first row. 2 balls and a strike. Ethan Bates has been a journeyman, bounced around. This is his 3rd college, Louisiana Tech. Began his career back in 2021 for the Arkansas Razorbacks. Played 17 games in corner outfield. Did not appear as a pitcher. And then transferred to JUCO. Went to Navarro Junior College. Hit .324 last season. He's ahead 3-1 now. Then he transferred to Louisiana Tech, where Perri already mentioned his last time to the plate. Led the team in ERA while slashing .270, .540, and .377. Grounded over towards second base side. Brady Day fields in the shallow outfield and throws on to first for out number 1.
For those of you that sounded familiar to, Navarro College is the college that has become famous from the Netflix documentary Cheer. They are the most competitive cheerleading junior college in the country. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend. It's actually amazing what they do, and I'm sure they were at some of his games.
Trey Lipsy at the plate. I've never seen that show. First pitch is on the corner for strike one.
It was a COVID phenomenon.
It's on Netflix.
Netflix. Very famous docuseries.
I think I've seen it
best.
advertised. This one popped up pretty deep to the outfield. Archer going back, looks to be underneath it, and a couple crossovers to his left. He makes the catch for out number 2. Lipsy retired for the first time, and a strong start to the day for Cole Hillier, who's retired the first 2 batters. Now John Gazdar, who grounded into a double play his first time up to the dish, is the final hope if Hyannis doesn't want to go in order in the 5th. Gazdar rips it on the ground once again to short. Vieira fields, throws a seed low to first, but Hines in a full split is there to scoop it up for out number 3. Quick work by Cole Hillier in the top of the 5th inning. We're halfway home from Red Wilson Field. It's 1-0 Harbor Hawks. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Bottom of the 5th inning from Red Wilson Field, and a new pitcher on the mound for the top of the YD order, R.J. Austin, trying to get his first hit and breaking 0 for 2 day. Cade Obermuller takes over on the hill for Hyannis in relief of Darren Horn, who went 2 innings of 2-hit ball without giving up a run, 1 walk, and 3 strikeouts for Coastal Carolina Chanticleer. First pitch from the lefty comes inside and nearly hits R.J. Austin.
It seems like heading into the off day tomorrow, Hyannis is facing this as a bullpen game. Both of their pitchers have gone 2 innings apiece, and now Mueller, barring any difficulties, likely to do the same.
Obermuller's 1-0 rides high and away. He's 1-0 this season. This is his 5th appearance out of the bullpen. Last time it was 2 innings and a winning decision against Chatham. Has only given up 1 hit. That was in his debut against Wareham. He's finished up his freshman year at Iowa. Austin takes a strike on the corner. Cade's father also played at Iowa, played in the major leagues for Kansas City, Milwaukee, and Florida. Obermuller was a shutdown guy for the Hawkeyes this spring. That one drops down low for ball 3. So he hit 15 batters. He walked 19 with 36 strikeouts in 22 innings. He had more hit batters than he had hits allowed. It's a pretty odd stat line. He also only gave up 1 home run over those 22 innings, but he deals ball 4 here to R.J. Austin, and he's on base for the first time.
So Austin's on-base streak lives on through 12 games now. The hit streak yet to be revived, but Austin, such a scrappy guy. It's why he's in the leadoff spot, always finds a way.
Xander Darby is 1 for 2. Austin on first opens up a pretty good-sized lead, especially against a left-handed pitcher that's going to be looking right at him. And now a pickoff move over to first. It was on the wrong side of the base. Sneaky pickoff from Obermuller. Didn't give any tell that he was going to throw over to first and just kind of underhanded it over there. Lefty on lefty to Darby. And he pushes the first pitch foul.
Darby singled his last time around. It was just a soft hit blooper to left field, popped right over the head of Smith at third and into the shallow outfield grass.
Another sneaky move to first by Obermuller. Nothing in 1 to Xander Darby in the bottom of the 5th. Now he squares to bunt and pulls it back. Pitch misses off the plate for ball 1. Ball and a strike to Xander Darby. Crowd is filled in pretty much all the way around the outfield fence now. 2-1.
This is definitely the busiest I've seen the outfield. It just shows you how many people here today. Could be around 2,000, but I actually have no idea how to estimate numbers that big in my head. However, this is definitely the most amount of people we've seen behind the outfield fence.
2-1 jammed up in the air to shallow left field. Lipsy coming in, hustling, and he can't get there. Drops in for a base knock. Everybody kind of froze on contact out in the field for Hyannis. And Xander Darby, pretty much identical to his first time. A little jam shot into left, and it drops in for a second straight hit.
That one was even higher. A hit that's popped up that high is rarely dropped. It has to be perfectly in between the infield and the outfield. That one was just feet away from the sprinting Trey Lipsy to a board, nobody out for Vieira.
Vieira's on a 1 for 2 day. Singled in the first, grounded out to first base in the third. First and second, nobody out for YD. Corners creeping in for Hyannis. Strike 1 called. You're a guy who may or may not ride out the rest of the season with YD, depending on how the professional looks work out. That one gets away and gets all the way to the backstop. Runners are going to move up 90 feet. So now they're on second and third, and Max Vieira can give YD the lead potentially with just one swing. He's got 8 ribbies on the year. Single could put him into double digits, and it could give the Red Sox their first lead. They're out hitting Hyannis 6-2, but trail in the game 1-0 after the third inning. Red Sox with a pair of 2-out errors back-to-back brought in a run. Vieira pushes that one foul. Ball and 2 strikes to the Seton Hall Pirate. Takes a second to unstrap his gloves, looking over at his third base coach, Scott Pickler. Nobody out, the 1-2. Grounded foul. Bounding ball for Vieira, who's got his average back above 300. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Pretty meaty part of the YD order coming up with Vieira, followed by Hines and King. Hunter, who's on deck, has struck out in both his at-bats so far. Vieira stays fighting on the 1-2. Feels like a breaking point in this game where Vieira could potentially tie this or vault the Red Sox in front with one swing. Obermuller trying to pitch his way out of this jam. And that's not going to do it.
If YD does not bring at least one across the plate with runners on second and third and nobody out, that would be a huge momentum stopper and would make it really difficult to move forward into the 6th, 7th, 8th innings with a lot of confidence.
2-2 high and away. There is a base open at first, but we've seen what happens when you walk him loaded for Hunter Hines. Chatham paid the price for that just over a week ago. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Vieira. Pitch on the way. Reaches for it and pokes it foul. Borderline pitch. Vieira not taking any chances. That ball rolls in front of the mound. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Obermuller, a guy that strikes out a lot of hitters. 36 in college over 22 innings, 11 here on Cape, and 7 1/3. Also has not given up an earned run yet this season. Vieira pops this one up behind home plate, coming over from third. Smith makes the catch with the basket, and that's out number 1. Just what you couldn't have there for YD is doesn't advance either of the runners. And Max Vieira ends with a sour finish to his at-bat. Hunter Hines now coming to the plate, 1 out, still second and third.
The best part of that at-bat was it added about 10 pitches to Obermuller's pitch count.
And now we are going to see a coach out of the dugout after he recorded his first out. He's at 18 pitches through just a third of an inning. Righty has just begun throwing out in the Hyannis bullpen, but is not from the full windup yet. So for now, it's just a conversation for the Harbor Hawks and their coaching staff. Eric Beatty, 2022 CCBL Coach of the Year. Former Bourne Braves pitcher. Make his way back to the dugout. Second and third for Hunter Hines with 1 out in the 5th. Will King patiently waiting in the on-deck circle. First base is open if you want to try to draw some chase and pitch around Hunter a little bit, who has hit a grand slam already this year. This would be just a 3-run shot with first base open.
There is no force in play for the potential double play inning ending situation.
First pitch is low and away for ball 1. So the corners are in for Hyannis. See if they try to come home first to beat out the speedy R.J. Austin. Don't know if he's going to be running on contact. They're also shifted on Hunter Hines with 3 to the pull side. There's a strike painting the black on the outside corner. 1-1 to Hunter. The pitch slides just off the plate, 2-1. Zone seems like it may have been constricted a little bit after it seemed pretty large on both sides for the first couple of innings. These attempted shots at the corner haven't gotten as many calls. Swing and miss there, though, on the 2-1 offering, and the count is even. Two balls, 2 strikes to Hunter Hines, trying to avoid being fanned for the 3rd time. Grounded over towards first. Austin coming home. The only play is to step on the bag, which Kelly will do. And Hunter Hines adding to his league-leading RBI total. That ties the game at 1 as he brings it in with the ground out. Austin scores, Darby to third, and now Will King with a 2-out RBI situation could potentially put YD in front.
Not necessarily what you want out of a guy like Hines, but he does his job, brings a runner home, and it's a fresh ball game, all tied up for Will King.
King lines this one, leaping over the head of shortstop Elijah Hainline into left field for a base hit.
And he wasted no time with that. The Red Sox take the lead.
Next up, out of LSU.
King drives in another, and it's 2-1 Red Sox. Brady Neal, who's 0 for 2, tries to get his first hit with this team to keep this inning alive. Will King with another clutch hit for the Red Sox, and he takes off running. The throw down to second is high and safe at second. Will King swipes the base.
You don't see that every day. That's 2 plays at second that should have been easier outs for Done behind the plate, but he cannot find the location he's looking for. That one was high. The last one was away on the wrong side of the bag.
Neal takes over the plate for strike 2. So now he could potentially drive in an insurance run with Will King in scoring position. Overmuller fires off the plate. 1-2 count to Brady Neal. Swing and a miss, strike 3, and the inning is over. YD, though, coming in clutch with 2 outs. Will King follows up Hunter Hines' RBI groundout with a single to bring in the Red Sox second run, and they steal the lead away here in the 5th as we head to inning number 6. It's 2-1 Red Sox. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Top of the 6th inning, YD has taken the lead over Hyannis. Top of the order coming up, and Nick Mitchell, the former member of the Red Sox, who is 1 for 2 with a run scored at the plate. Hillier with a beautiful sweeping piece that misses just below the zone for ball 1. Mitchell has scored Hyannis' only run. With 2 outs in the 3rd inning, he came up. That was against Eric Yost. He wraps this one foul. And grounded one over to short that got thrown by at first, so he got the base and then it went out of play. That moved him up to second. And then Elijah Hainline did the exact same thing behind him except to third. He grounded one over there that was thrown by at first base. This one ripped out into shallow right field. That'll drop for a base hit. Nick Mitchell's got a 2 for 3 day. He's been on base all 3 times. And a really solid showing for the new Indiana Hoosier against his old team.
Some might say revenge game for Nick Mitchell. Certainly doing a good job of it if that is the case. The sky has become overcast now as the field is completely in shade. The sun was shining brightly at the beginning of the game. Now it is clouds all over.
Hainline pops the bunt up, still down to the left side of the mound. A seed onto first by Hillier, and he gets it there for the out. Runner moves from first to second. It's a sacrifice for Hainline, and that brings in Cam Smith, the Florida State Seminole. Haven't seen a darkness delay here at Red Wilson Field, or a darkness calling of the game yet this season, something that the change in start time was seeking to address. Formerly, games here at Red Wilson started at 5. Now they start at 4:45. That was to try and lessen the amount of games that were called early due to darkness because there are no lights at this field. But YD went into yesterday having played more innings of baseball than any other team in the Cape League. Very few rainouts. The only 2 rainouts they've had have been league-wide. One of them was yesterday. One finds the corner against Cam Smith. Also played their way into a few extra inning games as well. YD with 1 tie, same as Hyannis this year. Red Sox currently sit half a game up on Harwich. Mariners are 11-9. Red Sox are 11-8-1 this season. 1-1 popped up. Right field, Casey Cook coming in, loses the hat. But at second base instead, it'll be Brady Day who makes the play for the second out.
Next up, out of Lipscomb, number 5, Austin Kelly.
Austin Kelly is 1 for 2. The Lipscomb lefty comes up with the tying run on second base and 2 gone. Red Sox into the shift. Brady Day backed up towards second. First pitch off the end of the bat, foul. Brady Day said that he feels bad when YD shifts like this and he steals what would be an otherwise hit from somebody being out there in shallow right field, feels something on a hop out there that would normally be a single, and then throws a guy out from the outfield. That's the nature of the college game in 2023, with shifts still being allowed. Takes down low, ball and a strike. There's interest about whether or not it'll be banned from the college game like it's been banned in the majors. There's a lot of rule changes that have come to the major leagues will come to college and kind of trickle down within a couple of years. 1-1, flared out down the line in left field. That'll drop for a base hit. Runner is getting waved. Austin throws. The relay is cut off, and the runner scores. It's an RBI single for Austin Kelly that ties the game at 2.
Really well-placed ball from Kelly. Austin had no play on it, and it allowed Mitchell, who has a lot of speed that we already knew, to round third comfortably. It was cut off, as it should have been, by Darby. Mitchell beat it out by almost a base path.
So we're back level at 2 aside in the top of the 6th. A 2-out RBI for Austin Kelly, and now Brody Done, the catcher, tries to break an 0-for-2 day. Takes a swing and a miss at the opening offering.
Hyannis was helped out by the fact that there are 2 outs, so Mitchell was running on contact. He didn't need to hold up to watch if there was a play on the ball. He was just running for his life.
Kelly's 9th RBI of the season. That puts him into a tie with 3 other Harbor Hawks for the team lead. Ball and a strike to Done. Red Sox shifted the other way now with 3 on the left side. Hunter Hines holding the runner on at first. Swing and a miss on the 1-1 offering. King lost it in the dirt. Red Sox dugout yelping over to him to find that ball and prevent Kelly from moving up. 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Virginia Tech Hokie. He'll choke up a bit on the bat. 4 hits in the game for Hyannis to YD's 7, but 2 errors for the Red Sox proved costly when they came back-to-back in the 3rd and brought in one of Hyannis' 2 runs that the other scored just a moment ago. Snap throw over to first by Hillier. Hillier has typically served in a closer type of role, but going to be little more middle relief today as he's out for his second inning trying to finish that up, and there's nobody in the bullpen, so we may even see him for a third. The 1-2. Swing and a miss, strike three. It'll require a throw to first from Will King. He shakes the mask off, loses the glasses. Doesn't matter, a little hair flip on the tail end of it from Will King as that retires the side. Hyannis ties us up at 2 apiece on the RBI single from Austin Kelly that scores former Red Sox Nick Mitchell. We head to the bottom of the 6th inning, and you're watching Whitey Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. New pitcher takes the mound for Hyannis in a tied game in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's Ethan Lanthier out of Division II St. Cloud State. Plays for the Huskies in Minnesota, native of Northfield in the land of 10,000 lakes, and fires in a first pitch strike against Brady Day. Lanthier exclusively out of the stretch. The righty fires in another strike on the inner half. Had a really strong freshman year with the Huskies, 5-0 with a 2.43 ERA. That was back in 2022. 0-2 slides away. He also had 48 strikeouts in 33 1/3 innings. This past spring came back down to earth a little bit, 4.84 ERA, but the stuff's still there. This one chopped up the middle by Day. Tough play coming on from short. Hainline throws high over to first. It gets off the glove of Kelly and over onto the right side. And Brady Day not only will reach, but he'll make his way to second as well. Collision between he and Kelly over there at first might have caused some of that dramatic on the right side.
And that is scored as an E6. That's the first error of the day for Hyannis.
That'll bring in Nathan Archer. Runner into scoring position for YD. Would be the go-ahead run here in the bottom of the 6th. Archer singled his last time up on a screamer over to short that we were debating whether or not should be a hit or an error. It was scored as a single. Oh, 1, he squared a bunt and just missed it, so that's strike 2.
I've noticed with the scorers' decisions, they really like to give the fielders the benefit of the doubt and keep those error numbers as low as possible. We saw that earlier in the year.
0-2 fouled off. Brody Done wore the brunt of that, and so he will take a second to go collect himself.
We saw that earlier in the year when YD played Bourne. It looked like they tacked on 8 errors, which would have been a Cape League record, but later upon review it was lowered to 6 errors.
Done waving the trainer back to the dugout. 6 errors still tied a Cape League record, but you never want to be alone at the top in a category like that. So for YD, fortunate that those two.
The 3-1 misses outside, and it's a lead-off walk for the Harbor Hawks.
Next up, out of Ohio State.
Brings up Trey Lipsy. We are at the bottom of the Hyannis order. Lipsy, then John Gazdar following him up before we flip it back over to the top for the 3rd time around. Lipsy's been hit by a pitch and flew out, so he's 0 for 1 today. It's his first time facing Hillier. And it's lined up towards short past the glove of Max Vieira. Bates takes a big round around second, but holds off to a board for the Harbor Hawks. Nobody out after that ball was absolutely cranked from Lipsy.
A good piece of hitting from him, just a little bit unfortunate there for Max Vieira. That ball slightly out of his range, just escaped him by a tiny bit.
John Gazdar in his debut is 0 for 2, 2 ground outs. One of them was into a double play. Runners on first and second. Hyannis looking to take the lead as we've entered the final third of today's matchup. Still crowded and still overcast. The first pitch falls outside. Cole Hillier plays at Point Loma Nazarene University. Was the teammate of his YD teammate Jacob Christian, who recently committed to the University of San Diego. The 1-0 outside again, and Hillier might be losing his control. We're starting to see some action in the YD bullpen. It's Hector Garcia, a crowd favorite, warming up. Hillier now set, draws a swing and miss from Gazdar, strike 1. Gazdar is a California native, as is most of this YD team. Coach Pickler coaches out in California, recruits most of his guys from the West Coast. Counts 2-1 with 1 out, and it's lined up towards second. Day steps on the bag before Bates has a chance to get back to it, and the double play ends the inning. Hillier works out of the jam, and an unlucky shot from Gazdar. Really good contact, but Day was right there. Coach Pickler putting his guys in the places they need to be for success. We head to the stretch. It's still a tie ball game. 2-2. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League broadcast. Xander Darby leading off the bottom of the 7th for the Red Sox after an exciting end to the top of the 7th. A 4 unassisted double play as John Gazdar in his debut with the Harbor Hawks is now responsible for 2 double plays today. Not how you want to start things off, but that's how you want to start it off for Xander Darby as he hacks at the first pitch and lines it into center field. Leadoff hit for the Gaucho.
And he's 3 for 4 on the day.
Xander Darby has been breaking out these past couple of games, and right when YD needs it, they have been lacking offensively to the level we've seen them be capable of earlier in the season. Today, not the case, and Xander Darby certainly doing his best personally. Max Vieira's 1 for 3 today, started off with a single. First pitch to him sails over his head for ball 1. A slight haze fog creeping in. We saw this last week. Vieira holds off at ball 2 below his knees. A controversial 10-inning game went to a 10th inning, was not called for a darkness delay, including a dark field, a lot of haze, and Coach Pickler retrospectively wished they had. The 2-0 misses, hits just the outside corner of the zone. These late strike calls tripping me up. It's 2-1, nobody out. Darby aboard, takes his lead at first. He had a stolen base earlier in the game. Bluffs now back pick to first, not in time. And it's 3-1 to Vieira. Darby retakes the lead. The pitch flown into the backstop. It's a full count. Vieira's last at-bat went about 10 pitches before he unfortunately popped it up foul, and the catch was made by Cameron Smith at the backstop. A sad end to an exciting at-bat. The payoff outside, ball 4, 2 aboard, nobody out for Hunter Hines, who is due if anybody else is after 3 strikeouts today.
Out of Mississippi State, number
2 strikeouts and a ground out. Excuse me. One of those did score a run, so semi-productive day, but he holds himself to a very high standard, and we know he's stepping into that lefty batter's box with RBIs on the mind.
Intentions to untie this game for Hunter Hines right now.
First pitch, he's underneath. Curves over top of his bat, strike 1. Lanthier deals. Just missed outside the zone. Nice horizontal movement, but couldn't clip it before it crossed the plate. It's 1-1. Darby takes his lead, guarded by Hainline, the shortstop. Jumping back and forth, the 1-1, big swing and a miss from Hines. And he is behind in the count, 1-2. Still nobody out. A ball deep enough could advance Darby depending where it is. Will King on deck, who's had a good day himself. Ball 2 outside. Hines does a good job at laying off. In general, he has shown a lot of plate discipline. When he swings big every time. The 2-2 runner goes. Hit and run is fouled back. And Darby forced to retreat. Darby and Vieira were sent on that one. And Coach Pickler will continue to test Brody Done until he proves himself, which he hasn't yet today with 2 throwdowns, wildly inaccurate, allowing runners that really should have been picked off to slide in safely at second. We haven't seen a pickoff attempt on a steal at third yet today. After a quick chat, Hines back in the box. The count is 2-2. The pitch swung on and missed. 3rd strikeout of the day for Hunter Hines, and that's out number 1 for the Red Sox.
Next up, out of Eastern Kentucky, number 30, Will King.
Will King back in the box. He's 2 for 3, 2 singles and a fly out. Singled in the first inning on the ground up the middle. Last time a more Will King style hit was a liner into the left center gap. He takes ball 1. King is one of those guys that comes up big for his team when it's needed the most. Trying to do that again here. Darby dancing around on second, and ball 2 misses below the knees. Still just 1 out, a hitless Brady Neal on deck. The 2-0 falls outside in the lefty batter's box, and King off to a 3-0 count. Runners on first and second, a walk would load the bases. But Lanthier finds the outside corner. It's 3-1. King rubs the pine tar on the hands. Tomahawk back into his stance. Locked and loaded. 3-1 is popped up and out of play. And it's a full count. Lanthier doing his best to battle back, not give up any free passes in a tense situation. Now Neal on deck making his debut with the Wood Bats. Having a hitless day so far is not the most threatening player on YD's team, but everyone has talent, and King rips it into left field, an identical hit to his last one. Darby into home, Vieira held up at first, and King is on first, Vieira on third. He does it again. That is his ball. Lanthier left it over the plate, and King hit every piece of it.
Just so automatic from Will King, a guy who just doesn't strike out. It's rare to even see an at-bat of his get to 2 strikes like that. And if he gets that many pitches over the plate, if he's got 3 shots at it, it's very likely he's going to get something in play that's hit on a line and hit pretty hard. That's exactly what he did in a big spot. And that's going to end Ethan Lanthier's day as YD retakes the lead.
YD is leading 3-2. Lanthier is done. As you said, Luke, the call to the bullpen is made, and we'll take a quick break. We'll be right back. You're watching YD Baseball on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Runners on the corners. YD leads 3-2, and we have a new pitcher on the mound. It's Michael Rodriguez out of North Greenville, a Division II baseball powerhouse, according to my broadcast partner, Luke West Poley.
Very, very good D2. North Greenville down south It's a big spot for the lefty to come in.
Ball one misses just inside to Brady Neal. 0 for 3, 2 strikeouts and a flyout. King on first, Vieira on third after that RBI single from the former. The 1-0 misses low. Both of these so close to the edges of the zone. Not bad pitches at all, but Neal, who's already struck out today, is going to make Michael Rodriguez throw strikes before he swings the bat. The 2-0 on the way, clips the top of the zone, strike one. A ton of sideways movement on the off speed. Doesn't even drop that much, just comes straight across the plate from right to left. The 2-1, the bunt's laid down by Neal. Vieira scores, and the out's made at first, but a perfect sacrifice bunt. Brady Neal puts himself in the RBI category, and YD leads 4-2.
Great play, partway through a count. Just throw it down, and especially in your debut when you're thinking so much about, you know, what can I do to prove myself and to get the confidence going, and you may be thinking to just swing the bat, but Brady Neal, that's really good stuff to just lay down the bunt. You're playing to win in this scenario to get that insurance run home.
First pitch strike dealt to Brady Day. Rodriguez was part of a D2 national championship team in 2022. Counts 0-1 with 1 out. Red Sox have tacked on 2 this inning. Day offers at strike 2 called regardless. And he's down 0-2. That slider is disgusting, quite frankly. Regular infield hang line behind King. The 0-2 well outside, and it's 1-2. Archer on deck as we're back to the bottom of the YD order. Signs coming in from Gazdar at second. The pitch almost hits him. Day gets out of the way. King goes to third. And they say he went around as he was trying to get away from the pitch. An unfortunate end to the inning called by our third base umpire, Coach Pickler, out to have a little chat with Cole Hillier. Now he's back. So that ends the 7th. An anticlimactic end to an exciting inning for the Red Sox. They lead 4-2. We go to the top of the 8th at Red Wilson Field on the Cape League broadcast.
Batting out of Western Illinois, number 8, Nick Mitchell.
Nick Mitchell, the leadoff for Hyannis, who has had a fantastic day against his former team. He's 2 for 3, but has reached all 3 times on an error was the last one. And he takes strike 1 from Hillier, who is back out. for the longest appearance I think we've seen from him all season. As you said earlier, Luke, usually comes in the later innings. Mitchell flares it foul. There will be no play as it clears the left bleachers.
He's been a pretty consistent 1 to 2 inning type of guy. So to see him out for a fourth like this is very surprising in a good way. He's been very solid for YD so far through these 4 innings. Kept the bats at bay for Hyannis.
Ball 2 at the shoulders. Counts 2-1 on Mitchell with nobody out.
Hector Garcia continues to warm up in the YD bullpen. Imagine we'll see him for the save in the 9th if it gets there.
The kick and deal outside, ball 3. Mitchell lines it towards right field. Another base hit on the ground. Takes a round at first, steps back. Mitchell, 3 for 4, has reached all 4 times. And he is showing why he deserves to be in that leadoff spot. Should be noted that's also Enzo Apodaca out in right field, who has replaced Casey Cook. Still Archer in center, and everyone else around the horn the same except Dub Gleed, also at first, replacing Hunter Hines. The late inning defensive subs we're used to. Ball 1 inside to Hainline. The 1-0 popped out of play behind our heads. It's 1-1. Mitchell, a big lead, a big swing and a miss, though, from Hainline for strike 2. And he hustles back to the bag. We haven't seen Hyannis test Will King yet, except for one successful delayed steal right at the start of the game. Eric Yost got timed up. A swing and a miss gets away from King. He has to make the throw to first. It is called an out because there was a runner on first, so there is no drop third strike in play. Mitchell advances to second, and that's out number 1. Hillier stretching things out against Cam Smith, who's 0 for 3. 2 flyouts and a strikeout looking. Second time he's facing Hillier. And he takes strike 1. Breaking ball falling outside. Just hit that lower corner. It's 0-1. Mitchell on second. The shift in play as Day is shifted over towards second. Big gap between first and second. The 0-1 check swing foul towards the dugout. And it's 0-2 to Cam Smith. Hillier now into his motion. The 0-2 through the gap, beats the shift. Was a defensive swing to the opposite side. The throw comes in from Apodaca, cut off by Gleed. And it's a 1-out single for Cam Smith. Gets lucky on the opposite field. The analytics help him out. And there's runners on the corners for Hyannis. They trail by 2.
A lot of looks over towards the bullpen from the YD dugout that we may see Hector Garcia shortly.
Ball 1 outside to Austin Kelly. He's 2 for 3 today, 2 singles and a ground out. He singled against Hillier his last time up. Back to a regular infield. The 1-0 falls inside. It's 2-0. Interested to see if Coach Pickler lets Cole Hillier work his way through Kelly, or if we'll see a meeting in the middle of this at-bat. I think one more ball might be the difference. Pitch on the way. The bottom of the zone, strike one. Some disagreement from the Hyannis dugout. A nice frame from King, and Hillier's back in the count. Chopped up towards first. Gleed has the force on first. The run scores. There's 2 outs. It's 4-3 Red Sox. Hyannis cuts the lead in half.
Next up, out of Virginia.
That was Gleed's only play, but this is dangerous territory for YD after that run was erased. As Brody Done, who is due off an 0 for 3 day, can tie this game with a single. And with the shift on, we've seen Hyannis beat it a couple of times. If he can just roll this over on the right side, that might be enough.
Honestly, the bunt down the first baseline's not a bad move. The runner likely wouldn't come all the way home. Instead, a monster hack, strike one. The 0-1 swung on again. Done having some words with the umpire. He clearly swung through that, maybe wanted interference. Not sure what his disagreement was there, because he did clearly bring the bat all the way around. It's an 0-2 count. Third pitch fouled into the bleachers. A mob of children jumping on top of it. Hillier shakes out the shoulders. Done back in the box. This is a big moment in this game. Hillier trying to get out of it, send it to the 9th, and maintain the lead as the bottom of YD's order is coming up in the bottom of the 8th. The 0-2 fouled off the chest piece of Will King. Count remains the same. Hillier pounding the zone, trying to end this inning as fast as possible.
He's not really wasting anything, not trying to get any sort of swing and miss in the dirt yet. Maybe he goes to that after a couple of foul offs.
Another 0-2 lifted on the way, swung on and missed in the dirt. Throw has to be made by King. He steps out, and that's out number 3. Hillier gets it done. We head to the bottom of the 8th. YD still leads. It's 4-3 at Red Wilson Field. Back for the bottom of the 8th, and there is a new pitcher, but before we get started with the action, the Yarmouth Dennis Red Sox want to thank Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists for sponsoring this broadcast. Cape Cod Veterinary Specialists provide premier emergency and specialty care for your beloved companions. They are located in Dennis and Buzzards Bay and are open 24 hours a day. Nathan Archer leading off for the Red Sox against Jack O'Connor, the closer for the Harbor Hawks. O'Connor plays at the University of Virginia, went 6-3 with a 3.86 ERA in 2023. He's a Virginia native, was the #1 pitcher in the state out of high school. Just finished up his freshman year. The 0-1 hammered into center field on a line. It drops for a single. Nathan Archer starting off strong against the relief pitcher.
And I love that move from Archer. Attack him. You bring a new pitcher into the game in a big spot, late in a game, very close. And he goes first pitch hacking and just smokes one into the opposite field. Really nice hitting approach there for Archer for his second hit of the day.
Brings up Dub Gleed, who has come in relief of Casey Cook. Batting in the 9th spot. Runner goes. Throw in the dirt. Not in time, and Archer somehow manages to stay on the bag. It was a pop-up slide. One of his feet snuck in there, stood up, kept it on there. Really nice slide. That was Donet's best throw of the day on one of the hardest pitches he's had to deal with. But Archer now in scoring position, counts 1-0 for Dub Gleed. Gleed shows bunt, pulls back, strike 1. Was pretty low in the zone. The ruling might have been that he offered at it. The fog is slowly increasing, making visibility lower. O'Connor checks his runner on first, bunt squared away again. This time it gets passed into the backstop, and Archer easily takes third. 2 balls and a strike. Archer on third base. Gleed still at the plate. He's had an up and down start to his season here. He does have 1 home run. Four hits on the season in 11 games. And this one on the ground towards third. Archer holds up, and the out is made at first. Unfortunate up the line from Gleed. That's 1 out for RJ Austin. Austin still hitless today. He has reached base. He was hitless in his last game. If there's anyone in this lineup who's due, it's him. And ball 1 is outside. Austin had a hit in all of his first 10 games before his last time out. The infield is in for Hyannis. O'Connor into the stance. The pitch inside, ball 2. Archer taking signs from Coach Pickler, as is Austin. With just 1 out and ball 3 in the dirt. I don't expect to see a green light here. Outfield at medium depth, they're coming in a little bit. And there is a green light. Austin swings away at what could have been ball 4 on the inside, but it's 3-1. Still 1 out. Xander Darby on deck, who's had a fantastic day. The 3-1 is in the dirt. Austin with a sassy backflip behind him. Runners on the corners for Xander Darby, who is 3 for 4 on the day.
It's been really, really good today, and seeing the ball, the singles coming in his last 3 at-bats. Don't be surprised if RJ Austin gets up and moving here, tries to draw a throw out there to second base. Nathan Archer's got a lot of speed at third, so you could maybe try to do some sort of delayed steal, something that R.J. Austin has been familiar with this year.
The first pitch popped up into foul territory. Smith coming over, but it's behind the bleachers. Strike one. Austin was digging his toes in the dirt like a horse at the starting line of a race. He is ready to jump. Counts 0-1 to Darby with one out. 10 hits now for the Red Sox, their first time back in double digits in a while. After that was the regular during the early part of the season. The pitch from O'Connor, bunt is squared and laid down. Austin on the way to second. The squeeze is in time. Archer out at the plate. What a decision from Jack O'Connor, the glove flip to Done. And Hyannis gets a much needed out.
Yeah, just a tough one. Went with the safety squeeze there, and Archer wasn't going on the pitch. That was perfectly fielded, and you're not really going to have much of a chance with that type of squeeze if the defense does everything properly, which they did.
Vieira swings and misses at pitch number 1. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. YD holding on to a narrow 4-3 lead. They will have Hector Garcia coming in to close in the 9th after Vieira's at bat. Count evens up 1-1. O'Connor checks Austin. Makes a pickoff move lazily towards Hainline, who is loosely guarding the runner. Vieira cranks it up the middle on the ground. Austin rounding second. Third, he's given the green light into the plate, not in time. Max Vieira, an RBI single. That ball was shot straight up the middle. O'Connor had no chance on it. The Red Sox extend the lead 5-3.
That was much needed, and feel that was a really, really big run for YD in this game after getting that runner out at the plate on that squeeze. And now Enzo is going to hit for Hunter Hines.
Apodaca holds off at a first pitch ball at the shoulders. Missed just above the zone. O'Connor getting hit hard in his 1 inning of work so far. Ball 2 below the knees. Apodaca out to a quick start ahead of the count. The runners take their leads. The infield is backed up again. Just third baseman Cam Smith in on the grass. The 2-0 flared behind our heads. It's 1-2, 2-1. O'Connor checks his lead, now deals. Pushed foul once again, it's 2-2. Will King, the RBI machine of the day, is on deck if it gets there. Apodaca has walked in some pretty big moments. He had a walk-off earlier in the season, walking in a run to win a game. Pushes it back into the fence once again. Count remains the same. Apodaca, not a power hitter, but has been pretty consistent since just after the beginning of the season. Second on the team in batting average right now at .313 behind R.J. Austin. The 2-2. Chopped foul towards the Hyannis dugout once again. Really nice defensive swing. He saw the curve dropping at the last second and just poked it foul. 4th foul ball in a row. Enzo is battling for his team right now. Runners still on first and second. This haze dropping lower every second. The pitch up towards third base. Smith has it in the air. That ends the inning. The Red Sox take the lead, double their lead, 5-3. And we head to the top of the ninth. 3 outs could end it. Crowd favorite Hector Garcia coming to the mound. And we'll be back for all of that on the Cape League broadcast. As you can see from that center field camera, visibility is low. It's the top of the ninth. Zach Earhart trying to start a rally for the Harbor Hawks. They trail by 2. At the top of the ninth, they have 3 outs left to get it done, but Hector Garcia has not given up an inch to anyone all year. And his first pitch, a fastball strike on the outside. Garcia's trademarked glove at the hip into the rockabye baby motion at the ear. Puts him to sleep. Now the second pitch coming in below the knees. Ball 1, it's 1-1. The trees in the outfield just look like a blur. That ball has to be hard to see. The 1-1 just drops below on the curve. 2-1 to Earhart, who's 0 for 3 today. 2 flyouts and a ground out. Regular infield on the edge of the grass. Swung on and missed. Strike 2, the foul tip caught by Will King.
And the emergency warming up in the bullpen for Whitey is Micah Bucknam, who would make his debut if he had to come in a situation should things go south for the Red Sox here in the ninth.
The 2-2 tipped back into the fence. Earhart stays alive. Garcia has speed in the low 90s. He has a lot of movement on the off speed, gets a lot of swing and miss strikeouts. Flown foul once again. Still 2-2. Earhart fighting for his team's life. Ball 3 misses. It's a full count. YD looking to bounce back from a loss. They haven't lost twice in a row since the beginning of the season. Hyannis on a 2-game losing streak, fighting to break it. The payoff, flared foul. Earhart looking to face the 8th pitch of this at-bat.
It's exactly what you want to start a rally. You work a long at-bat. If you can walk here, you're going to get the dugout fired up, and you're going to maybe shake the confidence of this pitcher a little bit.
Into the windup, the 3-2 at the knees, ball 4. Earhart, an 8-pitch walk, brings up Ethan Bates, who walked in his last time around. Also has a fly out and a ground out.
Garcia, not the type of guy to give up free bags. If you're going to earn a walk off him, that's how you're going to do it. You're going to foul off a lot of pitches and just wait till he throws 4 balls. It might take a little while, which it did. But a nice at bat from Edward.
First pitch to Bates misses high. One and 0. Lipsy on deck. This time, the same pitch he was going for falls in at the top of the zone. It's 1-1. Garcia set a conservative lead from Earhart. The 1-1 below the knees, ball 2. As long as Hyannis is ahead, they will hold off until they see strikes. A YD coach out of the dugout for a quick chat with Garcia. It's not Coach Pickler, so the day won't be done. The Hyannis dugout is making some pretty realistic alarm sounds right now. As if they're oohing like ghosts in harmony. It's really quite impressive. Trying to shake Garcia's confidence. A runner on first. Counts 2-1 to Ethan Bates. And King taking his time getting back behind the plate. Bates back in the box. Garcia getting words of encouragement from the crowd, which has weakened slightly, but is still strong in numbers. Swing and a miss, strike 2. Bates technically represents the tying run, and a balk from Garcia. I didn't even see him move.
That's sometimes how it goes with those balks. Just a ever so slight twitch, move a muscle, and sometimes you get caught for it. Tough break there for Garcia. Not the end of the world, though.
Earhart on second, still 2-2 to Bates. The pitch is hit well, but foul towards first base. Gleed running over. There is no play. It sails beyond the bleachers. Count remains 2-2. Garcia set. Earhart has his lead. The pitch. Called strike 3. Curves on the inside. Hits that bottom corner. Bates back to the dugout. Shocked at the call, but we've seen that call today.
Next up, out of
Hyannis coaches exchanging some words with our second base umpire. 1 down, 2 left for the Red Sox to come away with a W. Garcia taking his signs from Vieira, who is guarding Earhart at second. It's Trey Lipsy. He had a strong single in his last at-bat. Was hit by a pitch in the first, so he's reached twice today. Ball 1 comes inside. A nice block from King. Keeps the runner at bay. With 1 on, every Harbor Hawk that steps up to the plate represents the tying run. But as we said before, just 8 homers across the board for this team. Not the heaviest hitting team in the league by any means. Garcia checks and deals. Hit well towards center field. Vieira going back, and it drops. Rounding third is Earhart. He comes in to score. Lipsy held up at first, and it's an RBI single. The Harbor Hawks get one back. The score is 5-4.
out of Austin Peay State, number 14, John
Just a little rip off the end of the bat, out of the range of Vieira, short, and this game is not over at all.
Just 1 out for John Gazdar, 0 for 3. 2 ground outs and a line out to Brady Day. Unfortunately, 2 of those were responsible for double plays, which would end the game here. But it's rare to hit into a double play 3 times in one game. Ball 1 in the dirt. Archer backed up to full depth in center. Corner outfielder slightly farther in, preventing extra bases. The 1-0 pushed foul, and it's 1-1. Ball 2 misses on the outside. Gazdar holds off. A regularly spaced infield. You can see the fog quite literally rolling in. That's something I've really had to get used to in Cape Cod here this summer. Special about being on the coast. The infield is pretty clear, all things considered. It's the outfield that's just covered in haze.
Scott Pickler's coming out of the dugout, and this might be it for Hector Garcia. It's the second meeting of the infield, so they're going to have to pull him. And going to see a new pitcher for YD.
Not only will we see a new pitcher, we'll see a brand new pitcher making his first appearance for the Red Sox. It actually is not the guy you saw warming up earlier, Luke. It's Leighton Finley, who's been a really solid reliever for the Red Sox. We'll let him warm up, and we will be back for the rest of the top of the ninth on the Cape League Broadcast Network. Leighton Finley, the Georgia Bulldog, will face John Gazdar in a 2-1 count with a runner on first. It's a one-run ball game. 11 hits for the Red Sox, 7 for the Harbor Hawks, helped out by 2 errors in the infield. First pitch from Finley, fouled into the fence. It's 2-2. Finley, one of just a couple YD pitchers with an ERA still at 0. He's given up 1 run but no earned runs. The 2-2 chopped, foul up the third baseline. Finley has gone 10.1 innings in relief, allowed 7 hits, 3 walks, 12 strikeouts. He has 1 save to his name, a win and a loss. All over the board in the stat categories, but a good option to close out this game. Another 2-2, hits him on the elbow. And our home plate umpire says he leaned into it, so he'll stay in the batter's box, that it hit the knob of the bat, actually not the elbow.
As I think if he leaned into that, that would have been a 3rd strike call, but I guess that just got it off the nub of the bat. Wasn't too much protest.
Gazdar did try to sell it, though. He was walking up the first baseline before he was called back. Finley, another chance. It's another 2-2 count. The pitch into the backstop. 3rd foul ball in a row. Leighton Finley, the 6'5" righty, Georgia native, plays at Georgia. Ball 3 misses outside. Gazdar doesn't bite, and it's a full count. 9th pitch of the at-bat on the way. The Hyannis dugout is hyped up. The payoff, runner goes, flared foul. Finley takes a deep breath. Now set into the motion. Ball 4. And coming to the plate is Nick Mitchell, who's 3 for 4. Also reached on an error, so he has been on base all 4 times. He's been at the plate today against his former team. You can't paint a better story than this, Luke.
Could be storybook, of course. On YD's side, you hope it doesn't end that way, but it very well could be, given the situation that Nick Mitchell finds himself in.
YD infield shifted to the pull side. Outfield shifted opposite. Ball 1 blocked by King. Still just 1 out. The tying run is in scoring position. The go-ahead run is on first base. Finley delivers, swung on and missed, and the bat flies about 50 feet towards the bleachers as Mitchell let go of it accidentally. It's a 1-1. The bat's not broken. He just lost his grip.
And you see the pine tar get flipped to him out of the dugout as he comes out.
The air is wet. The bat could be slippery. But, man, that was hurled. Looked like a javelin toss.
That looked like he tried to throw it. Wasn't like a slip out of the hand. That looked like he stood at the plate and just threw his bat over there. That was about how far that went.
Counts 1-1 with an out. Runners on first and second. YD hanging on to a slight lead. Finley checks his runner. Lipsy bluffs. Pickoff move towards second. Now back on the mound. Mitchell stepping back into the box. The 1-1 at the head. It's 2-1. There's nobody else in the bullpen for YD. This is Finley's game. Coach Pickler has only used 4 pitchers in a game one other time. The 2-1 fouled into the backstop. It's 2-2. A double play could end the game. YD looking for anything in the infield or the shallow outfield. Finley looking for soft contact or a strikeout swinging. Big gap through the 5-6 hole if Mitchell can push it opposite field. The 2-2 just got a piece of it into the fence. The runners take their lead. You can feel the atmosphere in this ballpark is very tense. A lot of YD supporters hoping to hang on to this lead. Finley into the wind. On the ground, this might be 2. Day has 1 at second. No throw from Vieira. Gazdar forced out at second, 2 outs, runners on the corners. The tying run on third base, and Mitchell reaches on the fielder's choice.
It's exactly what you want, but you're not going to beat out a guy like Mitchell with that kind of speed on a ball that just gets eaten up by the infield grass. That's a little too much to ask there, and Mitchell will leg it out. Now the tying run is just 90 feet away.
Elijah Hainline, 0 for 4 today. Strikeout looking. A sack bunt, strikeout swinging. He did reach on an error. He has been a part of Hyannis' production today. And it's a fresh count with 2 outs. Hyannis looking for life as strike 1 misses inside. The infield is regular, outfield backed up. The kick and deal. Misses again, ball 2. That one looked really close, as did the first. But Finley not getting the benefit of the doubt. The 2-0 below the knees, and it's a hitter's count for Hainline. 3-0. There is 1 bag open. Cam Smith on deck. And Finley finds the zone on the fastball for strike 1. Ball 4 inside, and the bases are loaded. Cam Smith 1 for 4 today. His single came in his last time around.
Number 13, Cameron Smith.
The Florida State righty trying to play the hero for the Harbor Hawks, send them at least to the bottom of the 9th. Make YD come to the plate once again. The runners take small leads. I have a feeling if this one is tied after 9, it will not go to an extra inning. It's popped into the outfield, going back deep at the fence. The catch is made. Enzo Apodaca at the warning track, and it's over. Leighton Finley works out of a bases-loaded jam, can breathe a sigh of relief, and YD walks away with a much-needed win at home. They keep the lead in the East Division, and Hyannis extends the losing streak to 3.
Whew. Sweating a bit on that ball that was hit out to the warning track, but I think a strong, resilient performance from this YD team. The offense carried their part, 11 hits. They left a lot of guys on base, which I don't think you love, but they did enough in this game to beat Hyannis, and with their backs against the wall at the very end there, they got that final out that they needed. Leighton Finley used the entire field to do it, but it's still an out, and YD will certainly take this win as they're going to stay atop the East Division for at least one more day.
It's the first time in a while they've faced adversity. They played with the lead after coming from behind, initially down 1-0 thanks to those 2 errors. They stranded runner after runner on base those first couple of innings, finally finding their rhythm, tacking on a couple. Their first one came in the 3rd, then in the 6th, 8th, and 9th. And Hyannis comes up just 1 short.
YD left 11 runners on base, but like we said, it's the 5 that cross the plate that count, and I think the Red Sox offense, you look at the guys that produced for this YD team, they are certainly guys you love to see producing. Xander Darby had a great day at the plate. Will King had a really good day at the plate. Max Vieira had a couple of hits in his debut. Brady Neal probably didn't have the day he was looking for, going 0 for 3, but he brought in that huge run with the bunt on a really nice play. This was a strong showing of situational offense at times from YD. At other times, of course, with stranding the runners, it wasn't, but they did enough to get the victory here on this Wednesday night.
And with another off day coming up tomorrow, the 3rd off day in the last week, really interesting schedule coming up ahead. The rain out from yesterday will be rescheduled for next week. So after tomorrow, there will be 11 games in a row for all of you Cape League fans. YD will be back in action on Friday at home versus Bourne. Second time taking on the Braves at home. We'll have all the action for you on the YD YouTube account. It's been Perri, Kitei, and Poley from our producer